Coach Ron Mackey, Coach Patrick Taylor. We're here. If this sounds good, please give us a thumbs up just so we know. Last time we were doing this, the audio was messed up. I want to make sure everything's perfect because we're fixing to dive into the air raid. Thank you for joining us. If you're joining us, this is talking about mastering the air raid. Coach Taylor has an amazing story on how he got introduced into the air raid. So, Coach, if you could just go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself. And I got all the questions written down. And after that, we're going to dive right into them. So, Coach, take it away.
My name is Patrick Taylor. I'm the offensive coordinator at North Surry High School in Mount Airy, North Carolina. We're an air raid football team in the Big 2A of North Carolina football. I've been studying the air raid since about 1997, 98. I learned what I know from Coach Hal Mumme coming in and sitting down with us and following him over the years throughout his career and just kind of taking the offense and kind of made it into my own. And I hope there's something here today you can take with you.
All right, so again, if you're new, I am Coach Ron Mackey. This is Coach Patrick Taylor. This is my channel. If you've never seen my channel before, I go over air raid concepts, run and shoot, RPOs, anything that has to do with spread offense. This is what this channel is all about. So if you haven't already, please subscribe. It'll be down there somewhere. And if you like this, give it a thumbs up. Go ahead and retweet it or email it. Let's get some coaches in here. Let's talk ball. I'm on spring break. Coach is on spring break. This is what we do. We love it. So I've taken your questions. I'm diving right into them. The first one, let's just go ahead and do something really simple that we'll just start right there. A lot of coaches go man-to-man. That's what they struggle with in the air raid. That's what they have problems with. That's what I'm sure you get a lot of DMs. I get a lot of tweets and stuff like that. So what do you look for when teams go man-to-man? Like, what's your two best plays that you do when you know teams are going man-to-man?
If they're going to play this man-to-man, which we only see it maybe one time a year, we're going to use our 6 call, our 4 verticals, and probably with man-to-man, I'm going to stay in that. If you say there's a 1A, 1B, I'm going to run 4 verticals in our open grass concept. Because I believe it allows me to manipulate their best players. It allows me to win space with lesser receivers. And it allows me to get the ball out really quick. And I can kind of do a 6-man protection and then slip the back out late. So they have to also, if they expand and chase, we can find holes with the back, basically hunting for space. So that's one of the things. Probably one of the big things that we do when I'm looking at man-to-man, I want to find out where their best defender is. We played a team this year who was a lot better than us, and what I like to do is I like to get in because they were basically going to play us in a 4-3 box and not give us any room to throw the football or run the football. We do run the football pretty effectively, and so they basically were going to give us this. Okay? And what I see as an offensive coordinator when I get that is a lot of grass. My idea is I might go 5 for 35 and score 35 points. I don't worry so much about completion percentage against man-to-man coverage as I do what they're giving me. But a lot of people get concerned about man-to-man because they feel like, well, they're better than us. If they're able to go man-to-man, they feel like they're better than us because really and truthfully, man-to-man is not, cover zero is not sound against a spread offense because you're giving up so much vertical space. But what I like to do is use our tag system and create space. All right, and this is what I look at. I like to take the inside receiver, the number 3 receiver, and tag him on a shallow route. Specifically because if I put him on a shallow route, we teach this guy right here as defensive coordinator. I spent half of my career on the defense side of the ball. We teach this guy, if he goes to take a dump, you go with him. All right? So I'm clearing space. All right? We also explain to the backs that we're getting the linebackers that we got to cram down the shallow. We got to pass it through and help slow it up. But what in turn I've done is I've now gave this inside slot receiver, I've gave him from his alignment to the opposite hash to get open on his vertical route. So in our rules, this route replays, he can work up and all the way across the middle of the field to get open. And that's probably one of the better things that we can do. And it also gives this guy more space, the outside receiver more space to win. If you're not as good, because I believe that, you know, the guy might be faster in a track meet, but can he cover, you know, 35 yards between where this A, what I call my A receiver, my slot receiver, and this opposite hash is. This can turn into a lazy cross, it can turn into a dig, it can turn into anything to hit where he finds grass and we're going to hit it. And the next step I would look at is how they handle 4 strong. Okay, 4 strong to the trips. If we empty the backfield, they've either got a banjo coverage somewhere inside to get back out like Green Dog and get somebody on the first back out. Well, I've now even opened up more space down the field, and that's where we're wanting to hit. Okay, so that's one of the first things I look at is manipulating in our 4 vertical set, manipulating the underneath coverage to give me more area to throw the ball in at the 2nd and 3rd level. Okay, you can crisscross people. Against a true man team, I will run mesh. One of the few times I will run mesh, but I will run mesh out of 2x2 just to get the simple crossers and get people chasing. So, but if I have to get into something else, this is probably my go-to that I will run.
All right, I really like this. And before we started, Coach was talking about Georgia Clinic and how this was one of a big thing with the 4 verticals. Think about it. If they push, these 2 guys, they're essentially eliminated. If not, then, you know, you've got a guy wide open. Now the problem, I don't know about you, you probably catch mine, this guy may not be able to catch. So you can, I'm sure you can make something up, switch him or something to put a catching back right there. I like that. Now, this right here, do you tag the post or the digger? Is this a part of your open grass concept?
I can tag it, but 99% of the time I do not. In our open grass concept, what he's going to know is if number 3 is under, I've got all of my lane vertical plus his vertical. So now, if he's going to be underneath the backers, I've got all of my lane vertical like true 4 verts would be, and now I've got everything over the top of where number 3's vertical lane would be. So now I've got so much more space. Another thing that we do that really messes with a lot of teams is I will take and do the same concept. If they're going to play us true 0, and you really want to hit a home run shot, I will put the Z, our right outside receiver, on the shallow route. And now I will let Y work the whole 2/3 of the field. Okay, and now he's got the vertical that he can work up the skinny. Okay, so now what we're doing is we're cramming the backers the same way from the opposite direction. He's in chase, and if you want to get real dirty with it, you flip the back like everybody used to. You flip the back, and you send him on the wheel route. And so I would run this part first, and this would be my second way to manipulate it. Okay, because I can get the back out right now, I can get him out quick. They're going to have to exchange that shallow wheel. That's a big thing in mesh when they used to. That's basically what you're doing. I'm just tagging all of it out of the 4 vertical set. It's the same idea, and so that's why I'm getting in and doing this is because I don't have fast guys. I have great guys. We're not track stars. We're not, but they're great. They catch the ball, they run the system, and they do what they want to. But that's a way for me to manipulate coverage. Probably the final thing I will do, and people will say this is, I know the purists are going to say this is stupid. But again, being on the defensive side of the ball, I was a 3-5 man-to-man team, and we would get in your face and basically just try to beat you up and disrupt the timing of the air raid and things of that nature. But what we like to do is the same thing. Another way to manipulate coverage is I'm going to run a stick route right there. All right, my number 3 is on a stick, and you don't run stick against man. Well, no, you don't. But I'm just trying to hold one man to get another one open. And what's this guy told to do on the defensive side of the ball? Well, you got him man-to-man wherever he goes. So the next thing I'm going to do is now the A's in the same predicament. He can work all the way across the top again and up his vertical seam, and the same way with the X. And we've got free access to the backside, which is a hitch against zone, a comeback if we can't push the man coverage off, and a vertical if we're just going to stay over top of it. So that's basically how we handle that.
That's nice. I love that, and I love that right there. We did it when we did 2-man snag. I know a lot of y'all do 2-man snag, normal zoning 2-man snag, and that's the bullet concept. Now, when you drag them, are you telling him, you know, if you can get a piece of them, go ahead because this is what you're shooting for, or what's your coaching point?
I tell him to turn and run right through where the
Gotcha.
5 techniques feet are to pull those linebackers down, because I think they have to decide if we're going to bail. I'm going to hit that shallow route right now,
Gotcha.
which now I've got a guy that's running underneath with coverage that's ran away.
Okay.
So
All right.
that's kind of the whole thing there.
Love it. Now we got a bunch of coaches. Just want to give shout outs. I got my computer right here, coaches. That's how we do things. Coach Singleton's in the house. Yep. Coach, thank you. Coach Bananas. We've got Coach Harder, Anderson, Whallingsford, Coach Smith, John Smith, and Coach, I can't say your name, but how would you pronounce that?
That's Burkhart.
There we go. I can't.
Coached a few of those.
Really? Okay. I can't pronounce. So welcome to the stream. We just did man-to-man. So now, before we get into it, Coach, down in the description below, if you haven't already, Coach has got a phenomenal website. He's got some great books that talk about the open grass concept, which I would like to next, just an overview of the open grass concept, because you can really dive deep into this thing, and it's like a PhD in football. But if you can just give us an overview, and if you want more coaches, check the link down below in the description. But what is the open grass concept, if you could just give us an overview?
Basically, it's a mental way to train your quarterback. It's mental training. A lot of the more expensive schools, especially in college and stuff, are going to this VAR training, which is like virtual reality. And I heard Mike Leach talk about it the other day in an article, and I can't remember what magazine I was reading, but he said it's mentally training the quarterbacks for the first time. And I don't have access to VAR at our high school or anything like that, and I don't know if I would know how to use it. It's like $10,000.
Yeah.
So what I did was I studied an optometrist that was played with baseball, Major League Baseball hitters, and he talked about the different types and how the brain reacts and how the brain remembers and this, that, and the other based through the eyes. And I spent a long time trying to figure out how to teach quarterbacks progressions and checks and reads and all this other stuff. And I finally found a way to just say, hey, I can do this no matter what. Whoever I get, I can figure out a way to do this year in and year out and not have to change things and not have to buy a bunch of different stuff. There's a lot of great programs out there. My program is a mind training that creates the reaction that we want. But to get the idea behind it, there's two schools of thought, and I'll hit the first one. We get a lot in our area. We're going to get a lot of 4-2-5. Okay, we don't get, even the odd front teams, they default and skip down into a 4-man front. And so we're going to get it. And we get a lot of people call their strength to our back because we run so much stick, corner, a bunch of sideline concepts. So in our 4 verticals package, this is what I kind of got. We got to. We get a lot of this look. Okay, we get a lot of this look, especially to the field, especially to the back, because they want to try to get 3-on-3 to the back. And early in the air raid, when I first learned it, you had a bunch of backside route concepts. There would be like whip routes on certain things. There'd be curl flats. There would be a lot of things. And to be honest, I don't think even in college you get to a 4-5 read unless you've looked at it pre-snap and you know you're going to go like 3-4-5. I believe there's a 1-2-3, and that's about it post-snap, unless you just got some big hogs up there and you're playing, some little league team. In our case, it's 1-2-3, balls better be coming out. So this is what we get in our 4 verticals. We ask our quarterback to come up to the line of scrimmage in 4 verticals. He's going to ask himself one question: who's open now? Well, this trains my quarterback to survey the whole defense. Okay? I tell my receivers, run till you're open. Okay, 4 verticals is not a great play on a 4 shell coverage. Okay, but this is what we're going to get most of the time. It's going to be like quarter, half, or you're going to get them rolling and playing 2 read and all this other stuff and breaking up coverages. My quarterbacks don't know coverage. I do not teach coverage. I don't teach middle of the field open. I don't teach middle of the field close. I don't teach any of that stuff. I also do not teach on the board. But basically what he's going to do in the 4 verticals concept is my receivers are going to know if this guy is basing a quarter's look at 8 yards off, he's going to push, and this is going to turn into double hitches right now. Okay, because we got a flat player on this side, he's going to win that outside release, try to widen that guy, and he's looking to see it or keep it vertical. Same thing over here. If he's 8-10, we're going to hitch it up. Okay, but what my quarterback's doing is my quarterback's coming through, and he's telling Who's open right now? Well, he snaps the ball, and I'm probably going to throw to this weak side slot right now. Okay? Because he's open right now, and the receiver knows I'm going to run till I'm open. All right? Well, our default run till you're open is a 3-step stick route. Stick is in our playbook. It's something that we run. I don't have to teach new routes. So basically, that's what it's going to turn into. And this is what's great about it. If they're going to set coverage to our concept side, it allows me to throw a weak side, and now this 4-2-5 has to decide, am I going to continue to bail that guy out there, or am I going to rock him down? And if you rock him down, now I've got man beaters on the backside I can run. And that's the best thing about it. And if they start bailing this guy, well, now you got your 5-man run game. I mean, you can run it till the cows come home.
You heard it. He does run. We're going to get into his run game. He's actually had some prolific running teams, or I'm guessing players. We're going to get into that. But my question for you, okay, does he have the option of slamming? Because I'm going to be honest, before we got introduced to each other, he would be on a hitch, he would be on a slant, we would have stick backside. But after talking to you, I like this concept. The only thing I'm worried about is, does he have the option of running the slant? Or is that something you tag?
Well, they actually get to run it, because they will learn that if this free safety, I still call him a free safety and not a weak safety. I'm sorry guys, I'm old school. Strong safety to the strong side, free safety to the weak side. And what we get into is this: if he is inside hard leverage, I will allow them basically to hunt it till they get even with it in line. If he's head up on me right now, he's going to run through me. Okay, and I'll make him run through me on the hitch. Because as soon as this guy gets to cheating on the hitch, I'm going to tag him on the post and I'm going to hit the home run. I have a shot play without having to make a shot play. Okay. I can tag one route and make a shot play based on what you're trying to get greedy on in the secondary.
And your quarterback knows that when you call that shot play, that this is who you're going to.
Yeah, he's reading that free safety. If that free safety don't jam down, we're going to throw that stick. If that free safety flies down, we're going to bang it right over the top.
Okay.
So he still has a read, but he knows that's an alert.
Okay.
That's an alert for me to throw the football, but I still go through my progression inside out.
Gotcha.
On that progression, so we don't get him hung up. I never tell him who to throw the ball to.
Okay.
Never.
All right, I like that. Coaches, any questions? I'm going to go check right now just on what we've gone over right here. And if you want to learn more about the open grass concept, because he's going to talk about it a lot. He's got, again, I cannot stress this enough, a phenomenal book. Check it in the description. Let's see. Nope, so far, let's go there. They're just talking about, they're just writing notes. So again, don't worry about taking notes. We will have, this will go back up once we're done. What happens is we're off location somewhere, secret place. But once I get back home and my phone connects to my Wi-Fi, it uploads. You can watch it as many times as you want. I know I will. But for right now, are there any questions? Let's check one more time. You can run 5 wide and run it back. Just somebody. All right, so this is what we're going to get into now. I've had a lot of people. How do you go about what's the overall strategy of installing your offense? Like, are you still a 3-day install kind of guy, or how does that work?
We are still a 3-day install. I think that is the best way to do it. In the state of North Carolina, up until this year, we got 10 days of shorts and helmets. And what it allowed us to do with a 3-day install is every 3 days you install your offense. So in the spring install, we got to install our offense 3 consecutive times. So by the time we got through with the spring practice, we had actually installed our offense 3 times. Probably one of the reasons too, I'm a 3-day install guy, is simplicity, and that's what the Air Raid Offense is about. We try to make it complicated when it's really not complicated at all. And that allows us to reps. This offense relies on execution. You can say players and you can say a lot of things, but it relies solely on execution. And that's probably one of the things that I've prided myself on in this offense and understood, and why it's so good and adaptable to so many high schools, is that it's a lot like the old triple option. We're going to keep running it and running it and running it until we get really good at it, and we're not going to do a lot of things.
I agree. So, how your first day install? Do you put in 4 verts first day, or is that second or third? Because I know that's a big part of your offense.
Probably on the first day, if I had to go through, we're going to do, because we don't, the thing about us that's different, we used to put in all the 60s quick game, the hitch and the curl and all this other stuff, and we don't do that anymore. Because of what the open grass reads has allowed me to do, allowed me to tag routes and get to all that quick game. I don't have to put in a stop fades anymore. I can tag that very easily. So probably on the first day, we're gonna put in 6, which is our 4 verts. Okay, and then we will probably, I've got it, I can send it out to people. All right, that's our quick, and then on drop back, I'm probably gonna put in sail and cross, because to me they go together the way we run them. I'm gonna put in, our screen would be our tunnel screen. And then we're gonna put in run game, we're gonna put in our G and counter, our 2 best run plays. And that's basically, for all intents and purposes, our install. And all the people going, well, that's not a lot. But with our 4 verts being so heavy, I've been able to take all those old quick games that used to be in Air Raid and consolidate it into one play. And I'm teaching those kids when are you open, who's open now, and that kind of thing. So we're drilling that very heavy. And they're learning my tags and things of that nature because it's very elementary. It's very simple. But then we get 2 drop backs, 1 screen, and 2 run plays that are married kind of to each other. So that's basically day 1 install that we will do. And next we will do 6 again. No, we'll probably actually do, on day 2, we would probably do Y corner and stick.
Oh wow, do you do that on the same day?
We'll usually do it on the same day. And then we'll come through on the drop back. On the drop back, we'll do shallow. Okay, and I know some people don't realize that I treat that as a drop back because of the way we run it on the screen. We'll put in our tailback screen. That's our only 2 screens in the whole offense. Sorry guys, I went to school in Georgia, spelling's kind of rough. All right, and then on run game, we'll put in zone and ISO. And that's the run game. That's our complete run game. So really you start getting overlap, even on day 3, because on day 3 I will dabble in mesh, and I know that's hard, I'm sorry if I'm off the screen. On day 3 we'll dabble in mesh, and we'll get back into 6, and basically run back through our screens. Now that we got both screens in on day 3, we can run both screens, and we'll go back to our gap scheme runs on day 3, because it's such a big part of our offense.
Okay, so Coach Piscopo, if you're watching, apologize. We're not going to get into the mesh. I'm sorry. Why do you teach these? Because I don't. 2 questions. Sorry, coaches. Why do you teach verts as a quick game? Because I've always assumed it to be a drop back. And then why do you teach these 2 together? Because I split them up. But if there's a way I can incorporate both of them into one day, I totally will.
I think because verts to me is a quick game. Because the ball, even in the old true 4 verticals, when you catch and you make that look, you catch and you flip those hips and you make that look, the ball should hit. That ball should be out at the 10 to 12 yard mark. If it's being thrown any later, somebody's fell down in coverage and you've made a bad read. We don't get sacked very often, and I think that's because, and plus the way we do it in open grass, we're going to rip and throw it right now. You leave somebody open, we're going to rip and throw it right now, which invites man coverage, and I like that even better because then we can throw it over the top. But one of the reasons why corner is I think you can compartmentalize. And you know, why corner, if we draw it up, you got your slant sit and you got your corner. The corner is attacking the same area as the stick. If you really look at it, if you look at these 2 routes, the corner route's going where the vertical route does and the stick's going where your slant sit goes. And it's the same read. You peek the vertical first, so you compartmentalize the read. You pick the vertical first, and then you get down to what I call the 2-3 read, and the 2-3 read is the underneath backer. He's going to tell you if you're going to the swing route or you're going to throw the sit route, either on the stick or the slant. So to me, they're attacking the same area, just 2 different ways. And that's kind of why I've done it, because you're still looking up this, you're still looking, if you're a quarterback, you're still looking through this alley. You're still looking through the same alley on both plays. And it's basically the same. It's a high to a 2-3, and I say the 2-3 is that linebacker's got to decide. Is he going to go hook the curl, or is he? They're going to try to send him out now and fly this guy out. What are they doing to try to combat that 3-man triangle? It's the same read to me, and that kind of thing.
Okay. well, you've converted me, so I will be doing this. So there you go, coaches that have asked. That's his 3-day install, which really it's a 2-day, and then you just kind of pick and choose for the 3rd day.
Yeah, what you're not so good on.
All right. Again, if you're just joining us, I'm Coach Ron Mackey. This is Coach Patrick Taylor. We're discussing the Air Raid. If you've liked this, please subscribe to my channel down below. Give us a thumbs up if this sounds good, if you're finding this useful. And if you want to, go ahead, share with some people on social media. Let's get more coaches in. We've got 83 people watching right now, so thank you all for watching and tuning in. I've gotten a lot of questions on pass protection. That's a big thing, and I think that's one of the mysteries of the Air Raid. Could you go over your pass protection? Like, how do you run pass concepts? I got some questions. With everybody out there only protecting with 5.
Okay, that's the beauty of the Air Raid. I believe this is my saying. We talked about it in the first kickoff, was playing against zero coverage. If you're going to play me in a 7-man box, if you're going to line up in a 4-3 7-man box, I'll write this at the top. 7-man, you're playing with 6. 6-man, you're playing with 5. 5-man, I'm going to run it till the cows come home and then get what I want. Okay, so if you line up in a 3-2, I'm going to turn into Joe Gibbs, Washington Redskin. We're just going to run counter until the cows come home. But the idea behind protection is this: back in, back out. And this is what I'm going to do. Okay? And this is how we look at it. Let's get a shade there, 3 there, and 5 there. Okay, we'll get your typical 6-man box because that's basically what we get now in the 4-2-5. If the back is out and I'm swinging, this is what has to happen. Okay? These 3 are responsible for those 3. Okay? These 2 are responsible for these 2. The quarterback is responsible for him. So the quarterback is the 6-man in protection when the back is out. And a lot of people say, well, that doesn't make any sense. Well, this is what you've got to decide. Okay? This is what you've got to decide. If you're going to play us and we're running some type of concept that's a triangle concept, and let's just say we're going to run, corner, and you're going to give us this guy out here. If you're going to blitz that guy, this guy's better be right. Okay, this guy better be right. One of the things that we do to go back to the front, we are a vertical set pass team. A quick game or drop back, we're a vertical set pass team. And I actually have a long article where I prove, and I don't have time to do it here, I actually prove the math and the theory on my blog. It says wide line split pass protection. If you read it, I prove the geometry on how you can take a lesser lineman and make him a lot better against inside moves, because we do have big splits. We have the big 3-foot splits. And we want to be able to do that and move this guy, these edge rushers who are the best, move them the farthest away from the football that we can. And a lot of people get tore up about, well, what if you get an inside stab? The geometry says that if I drop straight back on quick game 2 steps, because this guy is about 13 feet from the football, I move 1 foot to him having to move 3 feet to size me up, to get back even with me. So this is what I tell people. The longer your linemen can get back quick and the longer they can stay away from the point of combat, the longer you have to throw the football. At the point an offensive tackle, guard, or whoever engages that defensive lineman, you've got about 1.5 to 2 seconds to get rid of the football. So distance equals time, and if I want more time, that means the linemen have to, the faster they get back and sit in their chair, the longer we're going to have to throw the football, and the longer they can stay away from hand-to-hand combat. Because think about it, in basketball, if you're D'ing somebody up on the perimeter and he's faster than you, you don't go belly up to him. You give him space. Okay, it's the same thing in offensive line. If you got this 5 technique out here and he's going to Clemson and your guy's going to Sun Valley Community College, you don't want him belly up to him. You're going to lose that battle all night long. Your quarterback's going to end up in the little van that's got a lot of lights on it. So this is the whole thing we talk about. We set our alignment, if you really drew it up, we barely break the center's belt. We actually push it so deep that we have to have the referee tell us, y'all got to move up a little bit. I cheat that space because now with the ball out in front, they got to cover before we can get to combat. So that's one of the big things that you have to understand from that. So that's probably one of the biggest things. Now, if the back is in, and the only thing it's always 5.5 protection. If we're running 4 verticals where it's not going to be some type of.
Okay. Well, I have a question from Coach D. Pugh. Hopefully I said that right. I know we're going to get that blitz distro up. You say OLB has to be right. I feel like we may have to throw before he's made his decision and can maybe play both short routes before they develop enough. What are you telling your quarterback at that point?
If you're going to get a heavy blitz right there, if you know going in that you're going to get a heavy blitz, and this is what has helped us, and that's a good question. This is what has helped us with the 4 verticals, and not just being 4 verticals. If you're going to get that, all right, and let's say I'm going to get the back out so I give him a true look on it. Let's say I tag the back to the swing. Okay, so we're going to get him out. Okay, I still like the back out because it's sweet. This is where we've gotten to. If you're going to give us this look, okay, which basically was the same look we just got, okay, and we're going to get this right here. And we said these 3 are responsible for these 3. Okay. What I like to do, if we're going to swing this back and get him out, is in 4 verticals we look at is when we can check it inside and we can get in and sit down right there and replace the blitz. But what I also like about it, if you're going to get that right there, all right, if you're going to get that right there, and that's open, we're going to throw that right now. That blitz is not going to get there. I promise you it's not going to get there. Because he's going to catch it and rip it under 2 seconds. Okay, now if he was showing blitz, like walking up and showing blitz, that's one thing. We can step like this right here and take care of that, or we could keep the back in and just make a true 6-man protection. But if we were just going to go empty 6-man or 5-man protection, I'm not worried about that guy. I'm really not. I know that sounds brass, but our quarterback loves to throw off the blitz. The blitz is his hot indicator key. Teams that have blitzed us, I'm going to go trips real fast, and especially we're going to get the 3-5 over here, and I'm going to run 4 verticals, and he knows that I got that stick to hunt route, and I'm going to throw that ball right there all night long. Very quick, easy throw, high percentage, and they'll stop blitzing. We do not get a lot of blitzing because we're throwing in grass. We're taught to throw where the opening just came from.
All right. And Coach Mumme, he says that not that many offensive coordinators or quarterbacks will throw the nice, simple checkdowns the whole way through. I have to disagree with you. I will take that all the time because I really don't think these guys can tackle that well. I don't see a lot of people, and all it takes is just one missed tackle, and then your 2-yard catch is going for an 82-yard touchdown.
Yeah, the one thing you got to teach this kid back here is he is Trent Dilfer. He's Tom Brady with Trent Dilfer's mindset. You're going to take what the defense gives you just like an option team would. If they're going to give you the dive, you keep handing the dive until they start closing on the dive. And then it is a process. And if he's not willing to do that, you better fire that kid and find somebody else that will. Because you're going to be upset no matter what. You cannot get greedy. If they're blitzing, they're giving you grass. Throw it right there. They will stop blitzing, and then you can get greedy.
Yeah.
Okay?
All right. So there you have it, coaches. We have a lot of, we have the Air Raid aficionados in here. We got Coach Austin James Smith down at Jacksonville State. Thank you for watching, Coach. With Coach Mumme. We got Coach Piscopo in the chat right there. How are y'all doing? I appreciate y'all being here. Is everything all right? Does it sound good? Give us a thumbs up. Let us know. Please excuse me real quick. I'm watching the stream. I'm just seeing if we're hooked up to it. Yeah, we are. Just making sure everything's good to go. What we want to get into now is we've already done those. All right. I've had this question a lot. I want to ask you. I come in on Sundays. Do y'all break down on Sundays or Saturdays?
Yes.
Sundays? All right. I'm coming down. What are just like 2 things you're looking at while you're watching the defense? What are you trying to get from them? Like 2 main points that you focus in on while breaking down a defense for the upcoming week.
One of the things I found out is how to manipulate huddle to get a lot of the things I want and mess with huddle's analytics. A lot of people's like, I need to find out this, and you get all these queries and reports, and you end up with this big stack of paper, and you still don't have what you want. And I found a way to get what I wanted. But as far as personnel goes, this is what I'm looking at. Okay, games are won and lost up front. 100%. If you got 5 chairs up there, then somebody's going to be playing musical. Your quarterback's going to be playing musical chairs all night. I do believe that. But this is what I look for when I start to break down the defense. I'm going to look at how you play something similar to us, which is tough in our area. It's tough to find teams. Early on, we have more teams installing us up where we're at in North Carolina now. But we're finding out that when we first went into it, people treated us like a single wing team. We were an anomaly. How do you say that? I don't know. Anyway, we were weird and that kind of thing. And so what I look for is this right here. Who's the best dude right here? Who's the best defensive lineman? All right, who's the best one they got? Do they move him around? Do they try to make him find matchups? The second thing I'm going to do is who is the best underneath player? How do they attach him? Do they leave him in? Do they let him run to the football like the old wheel linebacker in the 4-3 and just let him run, keep him covered up, let him run? What do they do with him and how can I defend that? And who are the dudes back here? I could care less what coverage somebody runs. I get a lot of questions about coverage. I don't care. I don't really care. Coverage does not define what I do. And I don't say that to be arrogant. I say that because, guys, coverage is we spend too much time on it. All right, it's just like zone or man in basketball. You're gonna have 1 or 2 offenses you run against zone. You're gonna have 1 or 2 offenses you run against man, and roll with it. You can pick it apart all you want to, but what you end up doing is talking yourself out of a lot of great opportunities. So if I had to question that, I'm gonna find out who the best defensive lineman is. Do they move him around? How do they use him? The best linebacker, do they blitz him? Is he a heady guy in the run game? Is he somebody that's want to run underneath stuff? Secondary wise, is one of these guys over aggressive? Does he play flat footed? Is he slow to read out? That kind of thing. I'm looking for that. I don't tell my quarterback that. I'm looking for that for play calling purposes. But I really and truthfully, and what kind of fronts and stuff do they go to? I break stuff down. One of the things Coach Mumme taught me, and this has helped me out, he takes the field and he splits it into color zones. And I actually talk about that in one of my blog posts. This has been the best thing for me because once I process all this information, I'm going to look at your defense not based on down to down. I'm going to look at defense based on position of the field. Okay, when do you go to man coverage? Is it based on an area? Okay, when's your blitz point? And when I break it down in my huddle, I can figure out exactly when you blitz, the tendencies you blitz, the fronts and the stunts you're going to run out of that blitz, all in one report that I get that's especially for offensive coordinators, and that allows me to get a good idea of what I'm going to be facing.
I like that. I took that from Coach Mumme as well. I saw it somewhere he was talking about it. That's amazing. And then what you're talking about is I stole it from Noel Mazzoni, the fingerprint of the defensive coordinator. Like, when does he go to man if he's zone? Or when does he blitz? Does he blitz all the time after a big play? Then you know to call one back or something like that. So I love that.
And I promise, if you went back on last year's film for the guys that are listening, and you made one column and you put color range on, and you titled the column on it called color range.
Hold on, because this is just for me. I love you coaches to death. Screw y'all right now. This is for me. I'm going to start doing that. So, all right. How do you set that up in huddle? Because I'm always looking for ways to get more efficient in huddle.
What I do is I'm going to have one column, and it's going to be called color. Okay, and the colors you have is, one of them is not a color, it's called the coming out, and that's when your back's against the goal line. Okay, and then the next one from the 20 to the 40 is going to be the yellow, and then you're going to move into what I call the open area of the field. That's from basically 40 to 40. That's where you start taking your shots and you start really getting aggressive. Okay, once you get to that, you're going to have the orange zone. Okay, and the orange zone is basically going to go from 40 in to somewhere around the 25-yard line. And that's the plus 25 going in. Then you're going to have the red zone, which is basically from the plus 25 on to about it's depending on where you kind of fall in, it could be from the 5 to the 10-yard line. And then from the inside of that is the goal line. And what I do is I go through and I do this right here. Okay, that's your thing. And then the next one I will have is front. Okay, and the only thing I want to know there is I call it odd or even. Okay, and even to me, odd or even, and that's what I want to know. Okay, the next thing I want to know is pressure, side. So I can figure out if they're going to bring pressure away from my back, because outside pressure away from my back, because they know I'm going to protect to my back or swing my back.
So are you putting here, odd, or even?
Yep.
So
pressure side can be this right here. This can be field. Strong, weak. All right,
and that's based on the back. So
the
back, it's strong.
Yep.
Away from it,
back's weak.
Okay.
All right, and then I'm going to put gap, and then gaps A, B, C, D. Then I'll put type of pressure, so I put pressure type, and that's going to be, you can call it whatever your jargon is. So gap could be A, B, C, D. The type of pressure, you can call it you can get into a zone blitz. You can call it overload. You can call it overload weak, overload strong, whatever in your verbiage. And then the last thing I'm going to do is safeties. And the safeties are this. What are the number of safeties? 0, 1, or 2, and then coverage. So when you run a query on that, you're going to exactly figure out exactly everything that they do everywhere on the field based on the area of the field, based on front, pressure side, gap, type of pressure, safety, and coverage. You got their defense completely analytically broke down in front of your face. And the huddle, I've got files I'll send to people that actually show an exact copy of what the huddle printout looks like, and I know exactly what they're going to run, where they're going to run it on the field. It is like the fingerprint of the defensive coordinator. You know before he goes on the field where his sweet spots are.
Okay, and Coach you'll put that on your website?
Yeah, it's up on my website.
Okay, if you can't find it, Coach will send me a link. I'll tweet that out, email it out, because actually, screw y'all, just send it to me, because I don't want anybody else to know it. I want this. So right here, 0, 2, or 1.
Yep, so I want to know the safeties. And this has nothing to do with the quarterbacks, but guys, we all know that the safeties are going to dictate the coverage, and the safeties are going to dictate the type of pressure and the fronts. So it kind of just helps huddle break down analytically what you want from this field color chart. And I know coming out what I want to run when my back's against the wall. I know when to get that first down and to get in that open area where I just get really aggressive, I know what I got. So my play sheet is broke down like this. It's broke down by color. All right, because I then know what this defensive coordinator likes to run in these areas of the field. Well, my play sheet will have orange, yellow, coming out, goal line, red zone, this, that, and the other, all the way down. And I know what 5 or 6 plays in each area I want to run based on that situation.
Coach Smith said is in the chat saying, who wants to make a pledge not to run at all? I would love to not to run. That is my head coach will kill me though if I don't.
Arena football, I'm coming.
All right, that's great. Now, one more thing. Coverage. Are you just putting man zone, or what are you putting right
I do like this right here, like where we get split coverages, guys. I'm old school. I don't call stuff 1 through 7. Like for me, cover 6, I'll put 42 because that's what I know. If you're a 1 through 7, 8, 9 guy, put that in there. But I'll put like 42, 0, 1, 3, 4 for quarters on down, and I know exactly when I hit that query, I get about a 2-page report, and it's his diary.
That's it. All right, one more thing. Do you put down and distance or anything, or do you really not care about that?
I really don't care about down and distance because this is what he's got to do. And a lot of people are like, well, you're not causing yourself a lot of room for adjustment. If I got this guy pegged on what he likes to do, okay, especially if he's been a coach that's been there for a while, and you know his tendencies. He's now going to have to change his mindset in order to beat my mindset. And if I got that defensive coordinator on the sideline thinking,
you've won.
Then I've won. He's searching, and I'm not. Yeah. Okay? So I'm playing chess, and he's playing checkers.
I like this. I'm stealing it. I did something similar to this, but I really didn't. When I call games, I'm just looking at, okay, this is what I call, who stopped it, let me go to the next one. I really don't do this, and this is something I've got to get better at.
One thing I will do, I'm sorry, I'll leave one off, and so to make this front, I will do drive opener. So if you ask about down and distance, I will check this as a drive opener, so that I'll know if he has a first and 10 from a drive opener. If he's got something he really likes to get into to set that drive to get you in second long. So I will, and I'll basically just check that box so that I know that it's a drive opener, and when I run in huddle, it'll tell me that's a drive opener. That's a drive opener. That's a drive opener.
Okay, that's great. Now, coaches, I know I'm saying this a lot, but we have different coaches coming in and out. We're up to 93 coaches watching right now. That is freaking amazing. I am Coach Ron Mackey. I am interviewing Coach Patrick Taylor. Coach Taylor learned the Air Raid from the man himself, Coach Hal Mumme. We've got some amazing coaches in chat right now that know the Air Raid as well. This is essentially a get-together for all the true Air Raid guys. So thank y'all for being here. If this is the first time on my channel, I like to do videos that deal with the spread offense. I talk about air raid concepts, run and shoot, RPOs, any and everything. Hit that subscribe button down below if that's interests you. Give us a thumbs up if this sounds okay. I'm worried about the quality and everything, so I'm going back and forth. So thank y'all for being here. Now, the air raid is known as a passing offense, but you actually run the ball quite a bit, don't you? Mm-hmm. All right, and you've had a couple of 2,000-yard rushers, right? All right, I know you said your G, when we broke it down earlier, G and GT. Could you go over the running game for us?
Yeah, one of the things about this offense that I think you have to understand about an air raid offense is that it was based to take advantage of what's being given. If we go back in the early days, when I was back as a young kid, college kid watching Kentucky play with Tim Couch and those guys, everybody played cover 2, cover 3. Everybody had 7, 8-man box defenses. Even in high school, everybody was running a 4-4 or a 53 monster. Things have changed. They have evolved. So what we get into now is this is how I look at it going into a game. If you ask me how many times are you going to throw it per game, I'm going to tell you I have no idea. I have no idea how many times I'm going to throw it. I don't put a number on the situation at all. Because it has nothing to do with down and distance or anything like that per se. It basically comes down to how are you going to play me. And getting back to how I feel about it is, you know, like I said, and we get a lot of this. I'm sure everybody in America does. We get a lot of this. When they'll try to sneak that safety down, run the banana, end up trying to get back into a 4-3, leave you in single coverage. I believe if you play in a 6-man box, you're playing with 5. I'm an old defensive coordinator. Somebody's got to be responsible for that cat. And I know you got a flat player, but if he's getting 4 verticals, he's got to worry about walling to get back down to the flat. So he's got to do some work. It ain't just sit there and pass them off anymore because you got 2 verticals running up the seam. But just talking basically about the run game that we talk about, our 2 favorite plays are we call it G. Some people call it dart. And then GT counter. And we pull GT counter from a 1-back set. If we've got a running quarterback, we'll read it backside. This past year, we did not have a running quarterback. We did not read it backside. We just tell the running back, you got to beat those dudes. You got to beat that 5 technique through the hole. And we get our linemen pulling fast and quick. But probably one of the things that we really try our best to work on is getting through the hole fast on our G stuff. So what we're going to do on G is this. We look at running G, and we're going to pull the tackle against the 4-man, and we're going to pull the guard versus the 3-man. So it's the same play, okay, which is easy for us to block. So what we're going to do is out on the 5, we're going to double the nose to the backside. We're going out on the 3, and we're going to wrap the tackle. Tailback's running through. All right, we're going to leave that 5 technique to be a hero. Okay, we're going to leave that 5 technique to be a hero. This is our RPO run game. We don't lock. We don't do any of that stuff to the backside. And a lot of people are like, well, your quarterback's going to get nailed. Well, no, this is the problem in our run game. This guy right here is getting a pull from read. He's also getting a double team coming at him read. All right, so if he does not follow his rules and we all follow pull, I better get down because he's got to get over. And, you know, we're sneaking stick in the back door right here. That's a hard situation for him to be in. Okay, because this 5 technique, everybody's like, if he's rushing upfield, you better trap him. Let's go back to old wing T rules. If this guy's just going to fly upfield, you better just run trap that way. Okay, and double the tackle to the 3. But if this guy is a good defensive tackle and he's got a good defensive line coach, if you get a pull call, you're supposed to gap down, step down, close the hole. So I'm using his rules against him. If he gaps down, steps down, and this backer, this is who we're reading, we see him through the window, we'll throw the football off of him. If he's going to fly down, we're going to throw it right there where he just left. Okay, but if we're not going to run an RPO, we're still safe. A quarterback would read this guy. If we had a reading quarterback, if not, we tell him you're going to beat that guy through the hole. It's your job to beat him through the hole. We don't slow pull it. We get through the hole and we get things done. So that's probably our number one. And the only difference in a three-man front is we're going to pull the guard because he's open. Okay? GT counter is GT counter. We run it the same way. A lot of times we like it against every front known to man. And what we'll do, the same situation, is we're going to get in to, if we get into this, this is I'm going to draw the hardest block. All right, center back on the 3. I don't think it's hard to block from a wide split. It's a straight kick out block. It's like an inverted kick out. But what we're going to do in this situation is we're going to block back on the 3, down on the nose, okay, back to the backside, pull the guard, kick the 5, pull the tackle, lead up, and that's our counter. Okay, that's our counter. And that's our 2 number 1 plays. The past year, we never read the backside. He's not a runner. He's a pocket pro style passer, and there's nothing against him. But you have to be able to do it. And one of the great things about this situation is, again, this guy's getting a double pull read. It goes against all his rules as a linebacker. It goes against all his rules as a linebacker. Okay? If he's got to get pulled, I got to get over it. All right? I got to get over and get in that hole and try to undercut it. Well, we can throw right behind him. Okay? We can throw right behind him and throw the football. And we do not reach and ride this thing. This is a catch, and he's looking, and if that linebacker flows out, he's going to stand up and he's going to throw that ball right now. It's almost like a sidearm turning to a shortstop turning to the second. All right? And if it's not, he's going to hand it right now, and that back's going through. Basically, it looks like old I formation, 2-back power, because we're pulling through so fast and getting that kick. And that kind of thing. But that's our 2 number 1 run plays. And for 3 consecutive years, we've ran the ball for at or over 2,000 yards. Fastest tailback's probably around 4.81.
Wow. Getting back to this, I really like this. So how do you go about, because I know that was your day 1.
Right.
Do you have your guys on day 1 block this against the 4 and in a 3-man
Yes,
front?
because the only difference that it makes is the 3-man front is they will tell each other odd, even. The quarterback doesn't tell anybody anything. They know. If we come up against the odd front, and this is just, let's just say we get this a lot. What I like doing is we switch it up against an odd front. A lot of times away from trips, we will get this overhang. All right, so they're basically going to go to a defunct 4-2-5, and this is what we're going to get out here like this. So what I like to do in this situation, and this is just showing you, I like to put the back on the same side. Okay, and what this does is we're going to man this forward, because a lot of times we get slant 2 trips. So we're going to man that forward, and we're going to double the nose to the back side. Okay, we're going to prevent pinch on that forward, and we're going to wrap clean up for that back. When the quarterback holds it out, it's basically same side power. But again, what we like to tag with it, we only run 2 RPOs, 2 RPO structures. If we set a stick down right there, and I know we're running to it, he's getting a step down, he's getting a hole. We're either going to run through him, or he's going to give up a pass. And that's one of the things that we look at. But we'll do this from either side and pull this way. I like to move him to the same side because now I don't have that overhang to kind of mess with. It's a longer run for him. And with the prevent pinch, he's still got a pretty big belly to run around.
All right, is this a tag? Are you calling this G opposite or G and you just teaching it like this?
We call it wrong.
G wrong?
And nobody else up here knows what's going on. The quarterback that's just to tell the quarterback to flip the back.
Gee, I can only G.
These guys are getting a G call. No, they don't know that the back's on the wrong side because it doesn't matter for them what side he's on. They're just running the blocking scheme.
All right, I like that. This is great stuff. I've been really, if y'all follow me on Twitter or my website, ronmackeyfootball.com, or listen to the podcast, you know I've really been looking into this because I like this play. This is something we're going to do, and I'm glad that you talked about it. The next thing I want to go over real quick, I know you hit on it just a little bit, but how do you teach your forward vertical concept? Really just overview, because if you don't know, he's got 3 videos. I will be linking to them. They're somewhere in the search bar. You can look over here, or if the search bar is over here. 3 videos. One is an hour-long video on the forward vertical concept. So let's just go ahead and just simplify it even more. Real quick, just brush over. How do you teach the forward verts at a 3x1? Just real quick.
out of 3 by 1. We'll go trips to my left. Okay, this is how we teach it. Okay, if we're going to run base, when I say base 4 verticals, okay, if we're going to run base 4 verticals, and I mean like everybody draws it up like a lot of the West Coast teams used to call Seattle, okay, if we're going to run this, we usually get a 3 set to our trips, okay, the back's going to come up and he's going to sit down and his protection, because these 3's got these 3, okay, and then he's going to look for a hookup route. If we're running, when I call base 4, I mean true, we're going to run 4 vertical routes. I want the Y, so he can work right now all the way to the opposite hash. A is going to widen about 2 steps, and he's working straight up the seam. Okay, mandatory outside release by the X. All right, get in between the bottom of the numbers, right, basically on the bottom of the numbers, so we got a little bit more room to throw the football. And that would be our basic 4 verticals, and it's a 3, 2, 1, read, check down. Okay, that's basic how we install. Back here, this guy's got what we call free access. He's got a hitch against zone to come back against man vertical. Okay, that's basics. If we were getting this look right here, the way we install it, all right, this look right here, the way we install it, it would look the same backside. And this guy is immediately, he's walking up to the line of scrimmage, our number 3 receiver, and he's like, when am I open? Okay, his default, he's looking now at safeties, let's say he's 10 to 11 yards off. Okay, he's looking right now, he's like, well, I got a hitch all day long. The number one thing that we talk about, though, that he learns is this is the only guy that can get underneath the hitch. Okay? This is the only guy that can get underneath the hitch. So as he takes off at the snap of the ball, he's eyeballing this guy because this guy's staying true. If he flies out underneath, he's going to hunt right behind him and curl. If he stays inside, he's going to hook up right now and we're going to throw the hitch. The A, because he's got somebody in between the quarterback low, he's going to run his seam. All right, he's going to run his seam, and then it can turn into a kind of a lazy cross once he gets over the 10-yard threshold. And this guy's doing the same thing as the Y. If he's off that far, I'll let him hitch it up. And so that would be how we would run it in the open grass style. Now, if I just wanted to run 4 basic 4 verticals like the old Seattle call, that's how I would run it. But 99.99% of the time, that's how we're going to run it right there, and we're going to throw the quickest, safest throw. Okay? So our 4 verticals look like a million plays.
I know, and we're talking about this off stream, but we really don't have it. I know you don't. I'm slowly going that way. Rules. It's essentially just where are you open at, run right there, and expect the ball. And I know that blows a lot of coaches' minds because we're very rigid. We want if this, then that type of stuff. It's
really loose run and shoot. And I mean real loose, because I don't get into hard deck and low deck and high deck and all this stuff. It's basically they're asking themselves, when am I open and who can get underneath my route? All right, and you would think it would be bad, but our completion percentage is up around like 70-some% on this play by itself.
And I know you talk about run and shoot. Coach Smith down in the comments, he also knows both. He's an expert in both the air raid and the run and shoot. So if you have any questions, Coach, I hope I don't piss you off. Go ahead and at him in the chat. He loves to help coaches, and he loves both offenses as well. That's great. I love this. I'm slowly getting to this where, okay, here's the grass. Go find it. And one of the coaches in chat wanted to know, could you quickly go over your grass read drill that you have?
Yes, this is very simple, and I talked about the open grass in the 6 concept, and this is how we teach our drop back and our quick game. So what we do is we can get a quarterback, and then here's me, the coach. I'll make a star for the coach,
because you are a star.
And we'll get into whatever you want to get into. What I always teach, because I don't teach coverage, it's a waste of time. You get too much jargon. I will usually get into some type of shell, because the shell to me is what can. That's what we all worry about. What if he rolls? What if he robs? What if he? I mean, there's a lot of what ifs out of this. If you tip your hand, you know what it is as offensive coordinator. You should be able to call a game. But if we get something like this, and this is what I'll do. I'll get in the gymnasium, tennis ball, get on the tennis court, take the nets down, and put a tennis ball in his hand. I got this from Coach Mumme. We call it the walkthrough drill. Okay? I actually went and installed this at Charlotte. There's some other places that's called me and they've installed it. But what we do is if we were putting 6 in on the first day, I hand him, and this is a 40% drill, okay, 40%, we're not flying through it. You can put your defensive coach over here to show the coverage drops and all this. But what we do is we have them run jog 40% until they're open. So the quarterback's going to snap the ball, and I tell him if we're putting in 6, throw it through the goalpost. That doesn't mean that you're quarterbacks. And a lot of times we'll say, well, this guy's really athletic. I got to make him a quarterback. That doesn't make you a quarterback. If you're a triple option team, yes, it does. If you're an Air Raid team, athleticism has nothing to do with it. It's thought process and decision making. But how do I get that kid to think like I do? And that's what we've all been trying to do for so many years. And so what I'm able to do as a coach is I'm able to watch him and actually see what he's thinking based on his reaction. If I let Coach Mackey right here, if I close my eyes and let him punch me in the face, he's going to hit me square in the nose. If I let him punch me and I'm looking at him, I got a chance, my eyes are going to react with my brain and I'm going to try to dodge it. Okay, so that's the whole thing we're doing here is working the eyes. But a lot of people ask me, okay, 4 verticals, that's great. How do you teach the progression of the read? Well, let's talk about this. Let's draw a corner up real quick. Okay, and I'll put the running back in for this one. So he's got this look. Okay, I don't let him throw. What we've done to the backside of a triangle concept is we've kept our open grass concept. If they're off coverage, it's double hitches. If it's tight man coverage, it's Mike Leach's favorite man beater, double slants. They know if we're running the sideline concept, I ain't got hitches or slants. Now that 4-2-5's got to play the whole field. Okay, well let's talk about the walkthrough drill. This is the 3 questions that we tell our quarterbacks to ask themselves pre-snap. I call that the slow process. Okay, the first question in the slow process, okay, is where is number 1? Number 1 means the route. For us, it's the corner route. That's number 1. Is it open? Question 2, is it open by alignment? Yes or no? Okay? Okay? In this case, with the quarters coverage, well, that corner is probably going to bail where that's going. So he's going to get a no. The next thing is where is the 2-3 read? And the 2-3 read is this guy. Here's our 2 to 3 read. To me, they're the same read. We're going to throw if in off that guy. If he does this, then I'm going to do this, and vice versa. Okay? The last question they're going to ask, any blitz, do I got my gift? And that's what we call a gift. They're playing off coverage right here. We'll throw that all out. Okay? That's the last thing. But when we're installing, I don't let him throw this because this is a gift. He's got to learn to run the offense. Okay? So post-snap, I call that the fast process. That's when things are reactionary to the brain and the eyes. As I was studying about the optometrist, he now looks, when he's still going through his full progression, when he snaps the ball, he's looking at that corner route. If that corner is flying back, he immediately gets his eyes down to the 2-3 read because we're not going to throw that corner out. So now our quick game is faster than quick game. Our drop back hits like quick game. So if you're talking about getting blitzed, we've created a lot of time, and that's what we're all trying to do. So we do this for every concept, asking those questions. And when he snaps that tennis ball, and we jog these at 40%, his brain is like a video recorder through his eyeballs. He's getting used to it. And now what I can do is I progress, I can rob that safety and bail that in the tree, and we can roll 3. We can do all kinds of things. But because fast process, he's still going through his progression, it doesn't matter. He's looking for the grass I'm going to throw the football in. Where's the grass is basically what those questions are answering. And it's allowing him to be a lot more efficient, a quarterback. But that's exactly how we do it for any concept that we run.
I love that. That's great stuff, and I'm going to start stealing that. Do you do this in the spring and the summer and stuff like that?
Yes, and if I had a fresh install with young quarterbacks, this is exactly. Coach Mumme, I think, said he got it from Dennis Erickson when he was at Miami years ago.
Okay.
And it's just a tennis ball, and I know it seems jinky, but there's some guys, Jacob Morris on Twitter, Coach Van Horn. There's some other guys that are doing this after they talked to me, and they have talked about how fast their quarterbacks, even their quarterbacks they had last year that were stars, have progressed even farther. And they're not, this, to me, what I love about this, you ain't got to be an Air Raid coach to do this. This is progression brain training is what it is. And that's what the great thing about it. We had a team, me and Coach Piscopo's always talked about the zone blitz. we had a team drop the 5 technique, and plus they had the flat player going to the back, and my quarterback did not flinch, and I hadn't practiced it. We hadn't talked about it. He wouldn't know what his zone blitz was unless he was on Madden. He threw the slant, and it took us all the way down to the 2-yard line. And that, I mean, it freaked me out from the box. I was like, oh no, we haven't seen this. And he went right through his fast process, delivered the ball, and it put us in first and goal from the 1.
I'm going to install this because this makes it simple. We started in April doing different things, getting together as a team and working on it. This is probably going to be half of it.
No more than 12 to 15 minutes a day.
I'm sold.
But you've got stick put in and you got corner put in by teaching this the whole.
It's still the same concept.
It's the same concept, the same read.
It's freaking awesome. All right, this one is for Coach Timmerman. I don't know if y'all know Coach Timmerman. I don't even know if he's in the chat, but he sent me this message. He first off, he's going to be, I think he said, the offensive coordinator for his 9th grade team.
Yeah, I met him at Georgia Clinic.
Yeah, great guy, and he's also going from offensive lineman to quarterback. Good luck. But he wanted to know, what do you think are the best 2 air raid concepts to install for a 9th grade team?
If it was me, I would install them all, because I think when you really break it down, you can compartmentalize the reads. For a 9th grade team, I would install, if you're decent protection-wise, I would install stick and corner. Man, I can't get 2, I'm sorry. At 6. And then for some type of drop back, I would probably go shallow or sail. Probably sail's easier because it's a flood read. It's a true flood read. So I would probably put those 2 in. If you know, we run everything we run everything on our 9th and 10th grade team. So we install it just like the varsity. I just believe it's that simple. So we take kids that's never played quarterback or not been in a system like this, and we just install it and brainwash them. And so if I had to, I would probably go 6, and I would pick one of these 2, stick or corner. Probably stick, since you've got a true like full verticals look there. And I would either go shallow sail or have a middle crosser, or if you're a good sideline flood team, you could run sail. All right. I like shallow.
There you go, Coach. Only because I love you. All right. Also, before we start, coaches, if you're not on Twitter, please get on Twitter. That is where I've made all these connections. Yep. This is how I have actually gotten smarter, by picking the brains of beautiful, smart men like this guy right here, or Coach Piscopo, or Coach Singleton, everybody. Our Twitter account handles are in the description below. Please follow us. We follow back. We talk. We're very open with everything that we do, because that is what makes this profession so great. I was going to say progression because we're talking about the Air Raid. But this profession so great is just the free flow of ideas. I've gotten a lot of these as well. Youth level, and plus I know we've covered a little bit. A lot of teams that go to the spread, their biggest fear, man-to-man, what happens? What do you do on the goal line when a team goes man-to-man?
Run the football. Because they got a lot of their support players got their eyes on the pass. You know, it's a little different for us. My tallest receiver is 5'10". So I don't have that big basketball player that can go up. Probably if I was on the goal line, probably what I would go to is I would run mesh. Just because it's a crosser and you can put wheels with it. You can put a dig on the outside and wheel out of the backfield. You can do a lot of things with it, and it holds people in the middle, lets you get clean looks on the outside. With that play on the goal line, really and truthfully, it can be really dirty. I know, and I would be hard pressed to really do it, but I know that Coach Piscopo does a great job with this, and he runs his PCP concept out of it, and he's basically, what he's getting is a post. He's getting I can't remember exactly how he does it. He ran against us about 3 years ago, but he gets an actual wheel route off the post in the goal line with trips and the mesh coming, and it's pretty hard. It's pretty hard to sort out. But inside the goal line, and I like the back shoulder fade. We're going to work very hard on this this year because this is probably something I've studied so hard this year is the back shoulder fade, and to be able to get this in. The way we're going to do it is we're going to push in the middle of the field area. It's going to be 12 yards is where the ball can come out at. But in the goal line, it can be shorter, but we're throwing it right at the back of his helmet. And I know that's what a lot of people do. I'm actually going to have some bigger receivers on the outside this year that can jump a little more. So that would be probably one of the things I would work on a whole lot. But when we get down into the nitty gritty, you got to get them yards. That's where a lot of people, they'll still play us normal spread, and it gives us that 6-man box, and our run game is, I love it. You know, I love the fact that we can get down and we can get dirty and run the football just as efficiently as a power I team.
Okay. And again, coaches, you've heard it. He loves to run the ball, and the 10 and under, you can run the ball if you run the air raid.
Yeah.
That is a huge misconception. We like
We
running the ball.
will play action 6 in that, and that's probably, this scored for us more than anything, and I'll show you this to give the guys something. We would get in trips, okay, and people are trying to see, and this is where we get a lot of exotic blitzes. They'll get up in here, and they'll play like this, and we will protect it with quick game protection because the ball's going to get out. And one of the things we do is we have a code word that tells us it's play action. These cats up here don't know play action. We don't change blocking assignment. It's high hat. All right, so our play action is not the old low and go. And so what happens is because all of our runs are a fan across, we basically flood him across the quarterback, and we're reading that back. Or if he draws in, we're working inside right now. We're going to hit it in the hole. And that's our full vertical concept. And a lot of times at that point, we'll try to stab him in there like that or underneath that safety. And that's basically what we're going to do. We did that a lot from the 5 and the 10 this year against some teams that were going to really try to give us a lot of crazy looks and a lot of crazy stunts.
And he's going 1 to 2?
Yep.
Okay. There you go, coaches. All right. Real quick, thank you all so much for being a part of this. This is amazing. We have had up to 115 coaches in here watching and communicating in the chat. This is great. Coach, thank you for being here.
Oh, that's great.
One more question, and then we'll take some questions, if a couple of minutes, and then I've got to go pick up my daughter. You've got to get back home. I'm really hungry. What does your practice schedule look like in game week?
Okay. Mondays for us, I'm a big believer in saving the legs. So let me do this. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Okay, because Thursday is a glorified walkthrough, okay? Monday is this, and this is what's so great about this offense. We got 4 runs, 4 dropbacks, 4 quicks, 4 dropbacks, 2 screens. That's it. That's all we got. Okay, so on Monday, we're the first hour, 30 and 30, we're going to watch film. Okay, first 30, 30 offense, 30 defense, and we're at my school, I coach JV, while they're on varsity and vice versa. We don't have a split staff. So on Mondays, we let the JVs go after film time, and then we come in on Mondays. What we'll do is we'll go out and we'll do the walkthrough drill like I talked about on the field with the football, and we'll line the coverage up into what the quarterback's going to see based on what it is, and we'll basically 40% jog through it. We'll work on some routes on air, okay, which is good. And the great part about this is while this is going on, our O-line and head coach, he's got the backs and the O-line down there, and one of the backup quarterbacks, and they're doing inside run walkthrough, okay, which is great because we're getting a lot of reps. Tuesday's our tough day, so this is what we got. We come on the field, and we got 15 minutes right off the bat. It's settle and noose, okay? For 15 minutes, I don't do it for 15 minutes, but inside this 15-minute period is settle and noose, pat and goes. All right, and then we will go into and we will do some routes on air. We hit it flying, okay? We hit it flying. Okay, after that, we're going to have a 5-minute screen period, okay? And we'll start on the goal line, and we'll go up every 10 yards to the 40, riverside it, and come back and get every screen in up and down as fast as we can go. So as fast as we can go is how many reps we get in. Left, right, left, right, left, right, all the way down. Okay, after that screen, that's the first 2 periods. Then we will go to 7-on-7 period. But one of the things about our 7-on-7 period that I have learned is we have done this. To kind of talk about our 7-on-7 period. We have decided to put 5 linemen in front. Okay, for the varsity, this is one of the things I like to do. We'll get all 11 players. Okay, call it all 22 drill if you wanted to. And then we get the defensive linemen up here. We get 5 defensive linemen. So we just put 1 in front of each one. Okay? Then we get our linebackers. And then we get all our secondary personnel, okay? And we'll get into a 7-player shell that we're going to see. While this is going on, what always hated me is 7-on-7 is not real football. I'll throw the football and love it. It's not real football, and it creates a lot of bad habits. A shallow route that's thrown 3 foot off the ground and hit your tight end's knees right across the middle of the field, hit your offensive lineman in the back in the butt. Okay, so what we picked up at a clinic at Clemson is they do their 7-on-7 like this. Our head coach and offensive line coach standing here. I'm the OC and wide receiver coach. I'm standing there. My quarterback's coach is standing there, and my running backs coach is with us. We're coaching everything. The defensive guys are standing here coaching the same thing. So we're getting after it. The offensive line coach will tell the left tackle to go. All right, so that means him and his guys will go one-on-one pass rushing. So now the quarterback, while I've got a play called in 7-on-7, the back half is playing. These other 3 linemen are standing up and getting their drop and standing up. So now it looks real. My quarterback has to throw through windows. He also has to understand feet pressure. So all those cool broom drills that you see that you have to do, we eliminated those. We're getting real live reps with it. My quarterback is having to think and throw the football while he's stepping over a broom, except the broom's a big 5 technique coming at him. So if this tackle does not do a good job, the offensive line coach can talk about it right now. All right, well, and I can talk about what's going on. So it turned into an 11-man 7-on-7 that's very competitive and very realistic because my quarterback's got his windows in front of him and the visual that his brain is recording is exactly the way it's going to be in the game. So that was real quick. After the 7-on-7 period, and while that's going on, my O-line and head coach has got, we're doing inside run on the other end in the little corner of the field. So our guys, during this 15-minute period, my offensive line and the running backs are running through our 4 run plays 16 or 20 times a day before we ever get to team period. My wide receivers and quarterbacks is going through our 4 quicks, 4 dropbacks 16, 20 times a day before we ever get to team. After that happens, we go to team time. 12 minutes. Okay, 12 minutes. All right, we run through our whole offense, 12 minutes. Okay, we move it. We got to call it Bandit Drill is what we call it.
I love that.
Okay, Bandit Drill is this. We're going to set it up, and we have to share the field with the JV, so we get on the 40 going in, and we move it every 10 yards after every play. We get to the goal line, we come back. After that happens, this is the same schedule. On Wednesday, we have a 10-minute red zone run, 10-minute red zone pass, and the only other thing we work on right here is we have a 5-minute special play. We usually carry 2 trick plays a week. If we don't use them, we just carry them over. And then the same thing here. On Wednesday, we'll do a quick review of the trick play, and I'll talk about when I may run them and all this other stuff. So that's basically it. We copy it over, and Thursday is just a walkthrough day. Thursday, so at the end of the week, we have been through our whole base offense probably 8, 9 times before we ever run it on Friday night. Okay, one time this year on a Thursday, we did not have an incompleted pass. And I was like, oh, I'm not going to say nothing. It's kind of a no-hitter. And coach's like, you good? I said, I'm perfect. There's no incomplete passes. We're good. We're good.
That's nice. I like that. So, and I'm sure that your penalties, for the most part, on Friday are non-existent because you're not doing anything different that you haven't done. And this stays pretty consistent, right?
Yeah, and that's why we get back to, and this stays consistent. And because we run the same plays over and over and over and over and over and over again, we get better and better and better and better and better at them. And when we see a different front, we don't have to change a ton of rules. We don't have to do things like I've done in the past where you have to go, oh man, if they do that, now I got to do this, and I got to put a tight end in, I got to do this, and we got to change the block. No, we don't. We're going to get the box we're going to get, and if it's 7, we're throwing, and if it's 6, we got everything we want.
Yeah, I like it. For me, that's the great thing about the Air Raid is, and I think that's what a lot of people piss on it about, is it is an if-then structure. It's just, there's no Bible that someone has written for the if-then. That is a huge misconception that a lot of people love the wing tee and the flex bone because you got the if-then and everything's built in. I love those offenses. I mean this from the bottom of my heart.
Sweet, coaches.
Wow. Exactly. Fuck y'all though, because the Air Raid has it too. You just don't know it.
Right.
That's why. So stop bad-mouthing the offense.
The first offense I ever learned was the wing tee. And I call the wing tee, I call the Air Raid the same way as I did the wing tee. It's from the same mindset. It's just, Paul Johnson and Mike Leach are the same people on opposite ends of the spectrum.
Yep. Yep, so there we go. The coaches, thank y'all so much for being a part of this. I got some questions. Want to go ahead and knock them out. First is from Coach Adam Fisher. He says, what type of play do you like to run out of empty?
Quick, it has to be quick game. Because you can't protect long enough. This is what I like. Out of empty, and I know this, it just gets back to what we do. If we insert a true fifth receiver, and I'll put a 5 there, and we get into true empty personnel. What I like is because a lot of times we'll get, we'll usually get some type of something that looks like this. It's really, they just attach. We'll get something like this, and they're probably going to try to bring some heat. And this is where the heat check is. If we're running our 4 verticals with all that open grass stuff, this 5 receiver is always, unless he is tagged on something different, he's always on the shallow route. Again, because if they blitz somebody in the middle of the field with us running off, we're going to hit that for a long shot. That's like your new screens that everybody's running, that at the line of scrimmage screens. But what this does is, again, we're attacking the middle of the field up through the seams. So now these backers have got to decide, they're going to cram down. If he's reading 3 out, he's too low to get in there anyway. So we can get over top. We can take and tag this. In a game that we were in, a conference game 2 years ago, we had this look, and I basically ran this right here from a tag. And we ran that at the first down. It was third and 20 from the 21 going in. And we need this game, and I knew I had this. My quarterback had this as his long shot. He has this as first down conversion. And we split that safety and hit that post. The safety flew out. We hit the post over the top. We had not ran that play all night long. I just tagged it in with my 4 verticals. So I like to get in on my 4 vertical set and just tag the piss out of routes.
Hey, Coach, you can find anything if the 4 verts, which I love. He's got clinics on the side over here. I'm looking like there actually is something right there. Or you can go to his website. His website's down below in the description. He has 2 amazing books. He's coming out with some more stuff. I love it. You'll love it. Research it. The next one is Coach Butler wanted to know, what is your O-line splits? Still 3 feet, right? Do you ever change them or anything like that?
Coach will change them. If we get down on the goal line to stop the blitz run-throughs a lot that you can get, we don't worry about them in the middle of the field. If you blitz us, we're just going to throw where you just came from, and we're going to get you angled down with our gap scheme. But when we get down, let's say inside the 5, he will tighten down to about 2 foot, splits and whatnot, and that helps out a lot in that situation. But that's the only time we really tighten them. And a lot of the gripe and complaint is you can't pull from that far, and you actually can. And I won't go through the math and the physics and everything. But the wider your split is, the less dominant your offensive lineman has to be. It takes, from a 1 foot split, if you're going to drive a nose down, it takes 8 times more force than it does from a 3 foot split. Because you're maintaining a gap instead of trying to create a gap. It's kind of like the difference between stepping on air and pushing a Greyhound bus. So if you're not very good up front, you better widen out. And that's not new. The triple option teams, Darrell Royal in Texas, they were 3-4 foot splits in the old wishbone. And all they did was block down and run dive right in between. And that was the whole idea behind it.
And no one really badmouths the triple option.
No, they don't.
But Air Raid, it's like, screw you guys. All right. Also, he wanted to know, what are your splits? And I think a lot of coaches want to know this as well. Your wide receiver splits.
Okay. If we get on the field, it kind of depends on hash and that kind of thing. I'll tell you what, the great thing about coaching is this, and I'll send a shout out to Coach Drew Piscopo. His head coach that he works for, we both work for at different times. And I like the fact about the coaching idea is that when other coaches watch you that run the same offense, they can sit down at the table and say, hey man, I think you're making it harder on yourself because of this. And he actually drew it out and sent it to me. I was a little tight on my splits, to be honest. And I was a little worried about things, and I'm thankful he actually came up and said, hey, I think you need to look at this, and I'm not trying to be a jackwagon or nothing, but I think you could, help yourself out a lot. So if we're in the middle of the field, okay, and we got the hashes here, and I'm in 2 by 2. Okay, I'll do 2 by 2 on this side. I want my wide receiver on top of the number to give him a lot of room to work the outside release. I want my inside receiver basically almost splitting the difference between him and the end man on the line of scrimmage. Okay, so I'm getting even spacing all the way across. If we're in trips to the right and we're in the middle of the field, it's the same now, but what I'm asking them to do is Y and my A is now going to split the thirds. He's going to half it, and now I basically want him to be right, his toes right on the outside of that hash. Okay, to try and split that up, split the areas we were splitting in half, now it's going to be split into twos. So you're not right on top of each other, you got it. If it goes to the hash, the outside receiver is now basically standing in between the bottom of the numbers and the hash marks, and I tell the inside receiver for him 2 by 2 to split the difference between the end man on line of scrimmage and him to keep it uniform spaced. Okay, so that's one of the things there. You know, so it's not rocket science, but it's basically just dividing space evenly.
Okay, there you go, Coach Butler. You know I love you, and that's why I asked for you. Another one, Coach. Let me find it real quick. I am sorry, I just had it. Coach Anderson asked, how many plays do you have in your playbook?
Four runs, 4 quicks, 4 dropbacks, 2 screens. That's it. That's the whole playbook.
Shout out to Coach Slade Singleton, rule of 4. I love you, buddy.
Yeah, and really, and the thing about it is Coach Slade hit on something. That's something we kind of worked it down. And you're asking me what for? We put in the whole air raid, other than the quick game that we talked about, the old 60 number stuff, because we put that all underneath our 6. I put in cross. Cross was our biggest play. 3rd and 8 last year, 98.999% of the time, we're running cross. You can write it down. I don't care if the guy across the street knows it. I really don't care. But we put in all the basic concepts. But my quarterback or my receivers, we find out what we're good at, and we boil that down to 4. Now, our screens stay the same, because you can run screens. We have 2 screens. And the 4 run plays, I just believe in it. You got 4 things that you do really good. If you're going to get the same box, you're going to get 2 different type boxes, it doesn't matter. It does not matter. I think that goes back into calling the game more than it does having plays in the playbook. Understanding what you're calling.
All right. Well, let's see. That's it. Coach, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, man. It's been a
I
pleasure.
enjoyed this. Coaches, thank y'all for watching. If you haven't already, please check out Coach's website. It's down in the description below. So is his, I think I did my podcast. If not, I'll go back and edit and put the podcast that we did in there. His Twitter account's down there. If you have any questions, he's an open book. And I mean that in the nicest way possible, not being an asshole.
I'm not hiding nothing.
All right. Thank y'all again for joining us. And this is the first time you're doing it. My name's Coach Mackey, Coach Taylor. This is my website. If you want to learn about the spread offense and everything I know, and I pick the brains of smarter people than me, please subscribe down below. And until next time, coaches, let's continue to master the spread, score points, and have fun. And I'm ending it right now, if I can. Stop looking at my face.